You're gonna really like what I have to say in this one then. My name is Ren, and this is my review of Five Nights at Freddy's. Welcome back, movie fans. Thank you for joining me on the height of spooky season to discuss what I'm sure Universal hopes becomes their new yearly Halloween tradition. Recently fired and desperate for work in order to keep custody of his young sister, a troubled young man agrees to take a position as a night security guard at an abandoned themed restaurant, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. But he soon discovers nothing at Freddy's is as it seems. As a frame of reference, this review, my experience watching the film, and overall thoughts and perspective are as someone who has never played any of the FNAF games. In fact, I had not even heard of this franchise until my friend 3C Films started covering the production of the movie. If you're a die-hard fan, you understand the lore and story, you can judge whether this is a faithful adaptation or not. I am very curious about your thoughts on it. I went into this hoping to see a good, fun, spooky season film. Having briefly chatted with some FNAF fans who were at my screening, the general consensus seems to be either fine or really good. But if you're like me and have no attachment whatsoever to this franchise, I think your enjoyment of Five Nights at Freddy's will depend on whether or not you're into the Blumhouse style of filmmaking. Low budgeted, usual small setting, small scale films that can be entertaining enough, but usually are mostly forgettable. It will depend on whether or not you're really into the horror genre. As for me, I think this barely even qualifies as a horror film. The script, which was co-written by the game's creator and writer Scott Cawthon, feels very unsure of itself, but because of his ambition. This franchise is his baby, and it only became the phenomenon it is today because of the die-hard online fan base, which he's clearly catering to. From the beginning, he has stated this film is for the fans that made this game, this franchise, what it is today. But writing for a movie is very different than writing for a video game, and it shows that this is his first movie. In wanting to plant all these niche seeds, nods, and Easter eggs to his larger FNAF franchise, which only his select fanbase will understand, the movie ends up feeling like 3 different adaptations thrown together into a blender, and it spits out a jumbled mess that falls completely flat, as it is boringly unscary, utterly joyless, lacks any teeth, and culminates with one of the most unearned climax that comes out of nowhere I've seen recently, with so many of its setups and story threads having no payoff because he's just thinking big picture. He's not isolating any of it and focusing on this one story. I adore the practical effects. I adore the setting. There's just so much promise you can have there, especially when you have an adult and a child and you have those contrasting points of view. In so many horror films, they do such a horrible job with children in moments where they should be scared. This is the one film, I think, where you understand why the child is not scared at all in this scenario with animatronic mascots coming to life. At least not scared until a certain point. But at the beginning, you understand that perspective of, wow, this is wonderful. This is like a dream come true. While the adults are all just completely freaked out about it, even though they don't feel freaked out enough. I will forever sing the praises of going practical with the animatronics, who look so good on screen. They give the actors a lot to work with. Freddy and the fox and the duck and the cupcake and the big blue bear. I don't remember any of their names. I'm sorry. Because again, as someone who has never played any of these games, not really knowing what I was in for, it initially instills that sense of childlike wonder that Abby herself gets in the film. But slowly, as you explore the restaurant and the arcade and the back, and the film offers you glimpses about the lore behind the animatronics and how they come alive and how they communicate with Mike as he begins this job, slowly unravels that creep factor into it all whenever they're on screen. Freddy and the rest of the mascots are easily the best part of the film. They're my favorite scenes in the movie, and there's not nearly enough of them. They're about the only part of the film I enjoyed, because the story, if you can even say there is one, is riddled with issues. Apart from Josh Hutcherson and Piper Rubio, who do their best, the stiff dialogue, laughably bad conflicts, and uneven focus on either their relationship or the mythology leaves no room to breathe for any of the necessary beats or set pieces, which generates no conflicts, fulfills no clear arcs, and becomes an overall laugh riot just with how mechanically structured the film is. Except I was never laughing with the movie, I was constantly laughing at the movie. Especially in the first half, you can see many of the film's promising ideas emerging, but it spends so much time presenting all these story threads without really converging all of them. You not only start to feel how slow the movie is, which makes me shocked at imagining how slow the 3-hour cut would have been, but you feel how busy the movie is, which leaves no room in the second half for all of them to marry. And so the film and director Emma Tammy has to decide whether it explores the brother-sister relationship, the family drama of it all, or the Five Nights at Freddy's fun of it. And it clearly throws one out for the other. It's compromised by how much it is bringing to the table. And so I feel bad for director Emma Tammy, who clearly is shackled by a script that feels catered for streaming. This is a streaming movie through and through. I don't remember a single moment in this film visually that stood out, apart from one kill. There's one sequence of kills in this film, and one of them is kind of cool. Emma Tammy just has no room to breathe, to offer something flashy to it all. And so it all just bundles together. Even for a Blumhouse production, for me, this is very subpar. But that's just what I think. Whether you played FNAF or any of the Five Nights at Freddy's games or not, it's time for you to start the conversation in the comments below. Share your favorite FNAF game, share your favorite moment from this film, whether you watched it in theaters or on Peacock, and make sure you skip the mid-credit scene. It's useless, it's boring, it's dumb, it's even worse than the Blue Beetle one. But if you are enjoying this review, you want to be one of the last 100 people to get us to 5,000 subscribers, and you want to talk more movies and TV, this is the place to be. Consider clicking that subscribe button, and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. Five Nights at Freddy's is nothing but a dull, uninspiring collection of lame jump scares collaged together in a thin plot. Cool setting, cooler practical animatronics, but zero atmosphere. I hope fans have a much better time than I did. I found it watchable, but utterly forgettable. I'm giving Five Nights at Freddy's a C-. Thank you so much for watching, movie fans. FNAF fans, please don't hate me too much. I'm sure I'll make enough money to justify a sequel, and hopefully I'll like that one. Big shout out to my channel members for always supporting the channel, and I'll be back very soon with more, hopefully more positive reviews. So until the next one, love each other and love the movies.